this video, I'd like to help you work through Lesson 7 of the second beginner level of the Piano Skills Foundation series. So in this lesson, it's just the usual stuff. I want to remind you that these videos are just kind of a demonstration of the things that are on your list for your practice guide, and it's up to you to sort of start and stop the video and do things over and over that we don't want to spend forever on the video doing, because the videos would be 5 hours long. So I'm just trying to demonstrate all the little things that are on your list, including your exercises, your tune, your reading exercises, and your memorizing piece. And I hope you have a good time practicing all that stuff. Good luck. Right. So the first thing on your list for Lesson 7 is your C major scale. Now, today I'm just going to, on this video, play straight through the entire scale, arpeggio, cadence, and twinkle with a metronome up at 144. I'll turn it down to 120 for Twinkle Little Star, but I just want to play straight through it to kind of show you how your exercises should be going. I'm going to give each note 2 beats on the scale, but on the arpeggios, I think I'm going to just do 1 note per beat. On past lessons, I've gone twice that fast just to get through them, but this time I just want to go kind of straight through them the way I think yours should be sounding at this point. Oops, I just ran into the tripod. All right, here we go. Ready? Right thumb. Left third. Right thumb. Left third. Left thumb. Right third. Left thumb, right third. Now we're going to do some arpeggios. Now I'm going to do the cadence, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left hand's turn. Now both hands. Some twinkle, and I'll turn the metronome down a little bit to 120. And those were your exercises for lesson 7. Good luck with that. Okay, so the second thing on your list for lesson 7 is the tune Alouette. Now you could be going anywhere between 104 and 208. You turn your metronome on at 208 and it seems like it's really fast, but then you start playing this tune and you realize there's just a lot of notes that hold for a long time, so it's really not that fast. I'm going to just go straight through the key of C and then the key of F, the key of G, and if you want to stop and start the video and just focus on right hand, left hand, I'm going to play both hands. You should do little hands separate first. But I'm going to go through it quickly, and you can, of course, go slower. The whole idea is that I demonstrate how it sounds, and hopefully that'll help you learn it. The best thing you can do is learn it by watching and by rote, by ear. If you needed the music for the fingerings, that's fine, but you could also catch the fingerings by watching my hands. Here we go. Was weird. Sorry about the fingering. So I goofed up the fingering in the left hand. I don't know why. I should have just gone. On that part, I moved to my second finger and I got in trouble. But you can watch it again and see it next time on the key of F. I won't do that. So here we go. In the key of F, third fingers. The key of G. So there's the song Alouette in 3 different keys. Good luck with that. All right. So your next item on your lesson 7 practice guide is your reading exercise, little dance, and then another one, interval play. I think what I'm going to do on this video is go straight through it exactly how you should be practicing it. Now, I understand that on these videos, I'm always trying to save a little time, but I'm wondering if maybe people would like to see exactly how they should be practicing it and let me demonstrate it. So I'm going to try to make it short and go straight through it the way I would, but I'm going to do it the exact way that I have it written. So I'm going to practice each line of this piece, right hand, left hand, both 3 perfect, and use my metronome. The metronome tempos that I have here are the ones that I have written on your homework sheet are 80 to 160. So I'm going to start right down at 80, which might be a little fast for your first practice, but on this piece, let's start on the top line and work our way down. And then on the second piece, I will start on the bottom line and work my way up, okay? So I'll be showing you 2 different ways to practice, but it's pretty much the same idea. So here we go with the top line. I'm going to do the right hand first. Thumb is on the middle C. We're going to count 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. First note, 1. Okay, so I went to there. Do that till your right hand's good at it. You could, of course, go slower at first. Left hand. Okay, these are the 2 notes, a C and a G. I call this a 5th on C. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So I went to a 6th on B. Now I'm going to put those together and get my 3 perfect. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then after I get a perfect one, which might take you several tries, I'm going to go click, click on my metronome and move it up to 88 and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. All right, now I'm going to do the first line for my third perfect one. I just clicked the metronome up. I'm up to 96 now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now I'm going to put the metronome back down to where I started, which is 80. The very first practice you do, you might not want to use the metronome right away. Just wait till you get familiar with it. But I'm going to start on the metronome just to move it along here. Right hand by itself from measure 5 to the first note of measure 9. Right hand by itself starting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so I just played that line going to there. Now it's the left hand's turn, starting at measure 5 with a 6th on B. It goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1. So I went to the first note there. Now it's time to put the hands together on that line. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. There's one perfect, and then I go click, click, and I'm going to do another. Now, just to remind you, your first perfect will probably take you a few more tries. Then obviously I can already just do it, but you'll need at least 3 or 4 or 5 tries to get your first perfect. If it takes you more than 10 tries and you have 0 perfect, that means you're going too fast. So just slow it down. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my second perfect one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, and then I'm going to go click, click, and I'm up to 96 for my third perfect. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now that I've gotten my third perfect, I'm going to put these two lines together. I did 3 perfect here, 3 perfect here. Let's see what they sound like together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Right, now I'm on to measure 9. I'm going to play the right hand by itself. I'll turn my metronome back where I started, which was 80. So here we go, measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, I made it to the first note of measure 13. Now it's the left hand's turn. I see it's a 5th, a 5th, 6th, 6th, back to a 6th. So here we go, 5th, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now a 6th, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now let's put them together. Right hand, left hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, this is the first perfect. And I'd like to remind you that whenever you're doing your reading exercises, your eyes need to stay glued to the music. You do not look at your hands once your hands are set. And you should be counting out loud. Those 2 items will make you a good music reader someday. So here we go. Second time perfect on measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then I'm going to go click, click. And my third perfect one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now after I get my third perfect, I put all 3 lines together like this from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and turn my metronome back to where I started, which was 80, and do the bottom line. Right hand by itself. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Off. And now it's the left hand's turn. A 6th on B. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Back to a 5th. 1, 2, 3. Off. Now 3 perfect on the bottom line with both hands. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then click, click. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then click, click. One more perfect one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, of course, the final step is to play the whole line, since I've done 3 perfect on each one. Now, I'm going to break the pattern here a little bit. I want you to hear what it's going to sound like. So instead of playing it at 96, I'm going to play what it hopefully is going to sound like after you've practiced for a week, all the way up at 160. Okay, so here we go from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, That is how you would practice the little dance. And remember, it is a reading exercise, so keep those eyes on the music and count it out loud. Good luck with that. All right, so your second reading exercise is called interval play. And this one has a repeat at the end. You'll notice that it says DC al fine. Well, what that means is when you get to the end, you're going to repeat back to the beginning. That's what DC means, da capo. And then you play until you see the word fine, which is finished or the end, all right? So on this piece, I'm going to show you the bottom line, and then the next and the next, I'm going to work my way up the page. But because I'm starting with the bottom line, I have to practice repeating to here. And on this particular piece, I think it's helpful to overlap more than just one beat. I'm going to go all the way to beat 3, just so that the right hand always has to play something after the transition. So here we go. I'm going to play the right hand by itself. It's got a third finger on F, a fifth finger on A. I call that a third on F, okay? And then you'll notice there's a staccato. See that little dot right there? That means you play it short. And then the next one does not have a staccato, so I'll hold that until I say 4, which is the next beat. Okay, so try to get the staccatos and the non-staccatos in the right place. That's actually the hardest part about this one. So I'm going to turn my metronome on. I'm going to play the right hand by itself and try to demonstrate how you should play this. Starting with beat 1, which is a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Now the left hand, of course, you would do that till your right hand's good, and then play the left hand by itself. Starts with second finger on F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So now I just played the left hand to there. Now it's both hands till you get 3 perfects, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to call that 1 perfect. It'll probably take you a lot longer to get your first perfect, and you might want to go slower than 80, which is fine. I'm going to go click, click, and go for my second perfect one at 88. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Oh, I goofed. 1, 2, 3. I was not ready to play the left hand's first note at the beginning, so that's a goof. That was not a perfect one. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That time I was ready. So there's my second perfect one, and I'm going to go click, click, and get my third perfect one at measure 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm going to move up to this line and do the same routine. I'm going to start back at 80. Play the right hand by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And I just ended up right here. Okay, so now it's the left hand's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, now I got to put starting at measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was my first perfect. Now I'm going to go click, click, and I do another perfect one. Measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to go click, click. And since this is my third perfect one, I'm going to go ahead and just keep on playing until I get to there. Okay, so because I've already practiced this line. That, of course, is why I like starting at the bottom line. Now, here we go. Measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That was perfect. I'm going to keep going. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm back at 80, and I'm going to practice this line. Measure 5. Now the first time through, of course, you're not going to stop here like we will at the end, so I'm going to practice overlapping to measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Because there were some tricky things on that one. I don't know if you noticed or not. But there's at the end an octave, and you're going to try to reach, if your hand is big enough, try to hold this one until this one plays. And I realize at this point it's going to be hard for you to find this C up here without looking down at your hand. So if you feel you need to look, it's okay on that example. It's quite a stretch for beginners' hands to think about how to reach that without looking. But if you want to work on it, you might be able to get there. Or you might be able to get to the point where you reach it. So anyway, I'm going to play that right hand one more time. You can pay closer attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now it's the left hand's turn. Measure 5, going to measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now on measure 5, I'm going to put the hands together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got one perfect, and I go click, click, and I do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now that time, I messed up the left hand articulation. I did a couple extra staccatos here, so I'm not going to consider that one perfect. I need to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That was better, but then at the end, I did the wrong fingering. I did a 1, 2 instead of moving back to 3, 5, 4, 3. So, to save time on the video, I'm going to call that perfect, but it wasn't. You would do another, but I'm going to move it up and get my so-called third perfect one. And I'm going to keep on playing this time, assuming I get a perfect one, and that means I'm going to get back to here, because there's a repeat at the end. I've already practiced these lines, so putting them all together like this. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I move my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now the only line left for me to practice is the top line. Let's give it a shot. First, the right hand by itself, starting at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now Now the left hand on the same line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, now I'm going to play the hands together and get my 3 perfects. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 perfect. Click, click. The top line is second perfect. Here at 88. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now on my third perfect one at 96, I get to play the whole thing. And I am just going to go ahead and do that. Play it all the way through to here, take the repeat, and go ahead and play to the end so I know how the thing goes. Now, of course, I would do it at 96, which was my top speed for today. But instead, right now, I'm going to show you what it's going to sound like when you get to the end of the week and you're getting your third perfect, and you're going all the way to the end at 160. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And I screwed up at the end. Did you see that? The last two measures, both times I had a little trouble with this spot going that fast. That's why it's important to work your way up to that speed. I just jumped all the way up there without practicing it, and I messed up on the ending. Let me show you that ending. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Actually, not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So up to speed, this is actually a pretty difficult little piece. If you don't make it all the way to 160, don't worry. It's not a big deal, but try to practice it for a week and get smooth at it at whatever tempos you like. And if 160 seems a little bit fast, I understand. Look how I just messed it up. Anyway, I hope you have fun practicing that one, and good luck with it. So now, for your final thing on your list, which is the learning and memorizing A minor tune, since I spent so much time on your reading exercises on this video, I'm not going to take too much time on this one other than to sort of demonstrate how you should still be practicing it. I'm going to do the bottom two lines of the first page. I think the last video on lesson 6 I did the second page. So the way that I'm about to practice these two lines today on this video will show you how you should practice the entire piece. Now, knowing that it takes quite a while maybe to get through the whole piece, you don't need to do the whole thing each day. Like one day do just this page, the next day do this page, sort of alternate. To practice through the entire thing could take you at least half an hour the way I'm about to show you. So I want to just, to save time on the video, show you these two lines, and then I'll play through the whole thing at the end just to remind you what the whole thing's supposed to sound like, and then hopefully you'll continue practicing it. And remember, this is a piece we're going to try to memorize as we go. So when you practice it, the first time you play it each time, I'm actually going to start at the bottom here and just do this line and this line. I'm going to do 2 measures, 2 measures, 4, 2 measures, 2 measures, 4, the way you can be practicing still. So I'm starting with the right hand, second finger here. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to play the first note of the next page, and, well, the first 3 notes. Okay, so that's the first 3 notes. They're like the first 3 notes of the piece. So I just played from here up to the next page, and now you would do that over and over, making sure you still have that right hand memorized. Sometimes it's relearning it, because if you practiced it several days ago, you might not remember it. So relearn it and memorize the right hand, and then the left hand has a 5th on A, and then it goes down to a 5th on G. Then there's a rest, and then I play 2 more 5ths on A, and the next page starts with that same 5th on A. Okay, so I'm going to count that once. It goes 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So hopefully you notice I lifted off the note right on the beat 1 where the rest is. So now after you've memorized that or re-memorized it, put them together, and you're going to see if you can do it by memory 3 times perfectly. I'm going to do it 1 time. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that was the bottom two measures, the bottom line, last two measures. Now I'm going to practice the first two measures. I'm actually going to turn the metronome on. I have you on the metronome somewhere between 72 and 112 for this week. So I'm going to play 72 first. Measure 13 from here to the first note at measure 15. Right hand by itself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Notice I have to jump from second to second. Okay, so you do that right hand part until you get it memorized or re-memorized. And then the left hand by itself, starting down here. I've got my tripod a little bit in my way, so I have to do this. But anyway, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Then I jump up and play 1. Okay? Now once that's memorized, I'm going to get 3 perfect. You're going to get 3 perfect. I'm going to just do 1 to demonstrate. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now once you get your third perfect one on that, then you do the whole line 3 perfect, but before you do it 3 perfect, put a stop in the middle at least once or twice. So I'm going to do it with a stop once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, stop. Now from there, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. All right, so I made it to the next page, the first 3 notes. Now, after I've done at least once with a stop by memory, then I'm going to do that whole line 3 perfect by memory. I'm just going to show you the whole line one time. Okay, so that's good enough for the moment on that line. Now I'm going to go ahead and move to this line. Playing the right hand by itself, I notice the right hand does the exact same thing that it did here. So I'm actually not going to show you the hand separate practice again. In fact, I see the right hand and the left hand, and hopefully you have already noticed this, are the same on this one. And they even go to the same note as they did here. So what I want to do is, well, that's not true. It doesn't go to the same note because this one goes to the second page. So let me just play it once with both hands and practice going to the first note of the next one like this. And then I go to here. All right, so you should get 3 perfects on that just to establish that move right there. Does that make sense? Okay, so that'll save us some time though. I didn't do the right hand, left hand. I just did both to there. You do 3 perfects. And then the next one, right hand by itself, starting at measure 9. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and then the left hand by itself. Of course, I'm just doing it once. You do it many times with the right hand. Here comes the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then I jump 1. Okay, and then both hands together. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, now after you've done your 3 perfect on that, the whole line at least once with a stop like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, stop, and then go from there. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now I'm going to do my 3 perfect by memory on the whole line without the stop. Of course, I'm only going to do it once. You'll do it 3 times. So that's how you would practice a memorized piece that you already have kind of memorized, but you want to keep on practicing it well. You can still break it down like this. Now, if you didn't have time to do 2 and 2, 2, 2, you could try doing all 4 measures, right hand, left hand, both 3 perfect, and that might work on a piece that's not too complex. Now, if you can see what we're doing, you would work your way all the way up and finish practicing the whole first page that way. By the end of your practice, you'll be able to play all the way through and have an even better memory on it. And then what you could do next is work with your metronome from that slow 72 to up to a little bit faster, like 80, a little faster, 88, and so forth. And you keep working your way up. This week, I have you trying to get it all the way up to 112. So what I want to do is practice through or play through the whole thing so you can hear what it's going to sound like at 112, and you can check yourself phrase by phrase once you've learned them all and see if you're playing them the same way that I'm about to play them. So here we go. I'm just going to play the whole piece now, having not really practiced anything other than 2 lines. You get the idea, and this is what it sounds like at 112. You'll notice at the very end, I slowed down because of the ritardando, and I sort of ignored my metronome. If you want to do that, of course you can do that. Put the slow down in. So anyway, that is, after your 3rd week of practicing the minor tune, then that means that you have hopefully just 1 more week of practicing it to get it all the way up to speed. But I'm hoping you understand how to practice something that you are trying to memorize. Good luck with that. And then, once you're done with that, you can move on to Lesson 8, having practiced Lesson 7 for a whole week.